I've been in emergency services in Putnam County for 26 years. One of our biggest challenges is communicating to the public what the dangers are, what the response actions are, what we call a call to action, and how they can protect themselves and how we respond in disasters. So the media plays a huge role in communicating what the risks are, the hazards, and what people need to do to protect themselves and their families.
So the history of Putnam County goes back many years. I remember WCTE covering the county commission meetings and so forth, and that kind of started the relationship. But being the EMS and 911 director, we really expanded that relationship back in the 90s when Channel 22 allowed us to put our emergency radio network up at their tower site up on Brotherton Mountain, and that was a game changer for Putnam County. It allowed us to have a large tower in one of the most prominent tower spaces there is in the region, to be able to expand our radio network and for the emergency vehicles to be able to talk back to dispatch from most areas of the county. To me, that's when I guess the relationship really grew, and I don't think it's stopped since then.
We found great value in our local relationship with PBS to be able to put our local leadership on air on a local station where there are no regional, state, national filters. It's local people providing local information to our community. And we found that our community tends to trust that information much more so than other sources.
Becky and I started talking about what would breaking into live programming look like and doing emergency notification. So we started an emergency studio here at the Emergency Operations Center that would allow us to break into Channel 22's programming at any time if we had a disaster happen. We actually tested that studio the Friday before the tornado hit us in March of 2020. We were on the air, Mayor Shelton and I, that morning at 4 a.m. with our first broadcast breaking into Channel 22's programming, giving out details about the tornado, and we were on there every hour after that for most of that day. I heard so many people talk about the confidence and the security that it gave them, being able to hear from both mayors live on TV, giving them the actual info. My thing has always been is be transparent with the people in emergency situations. If you don't give them the details of what's going on, then they start making up details, and that's how rumors get going and bad information gets out. So we were giving it to them, and the one thing I remember about that is thinking I was so glad that WCTE was a partner with us to be able to do that studio. Had it not been for that, we would not have been able to get the information out to the people. And we had a long list of missing persons that I know that giving those names out and people being able to hear those, to know that my family members may be with me and be safe to let us know that, or we know some of our family members are still missing and we need to be helping with the search, just made a tremendous difference in that natural disaster.
And then as we moved into the recovery phase, folks getting their yards cleaned up, getting their homes cleaned up, and getting our community back to the new normal that it was, we worked hand in hand with WCTE TV to be able to share the messages in a timely manner from a trusted source as we went through the recovery phase.
So we were barely a week into the tornado and COVID came along. Our health department director came to me and said, "Randy, we have our first case of COVID," and that was probably about a week after the tornado. We went then from doing hourly updates to daily updates and then to weekly updates, and we shifted. For a while we were doing both. We were doing a tornado update and a COVID update together, and then after the tornado we kind of got it all taken care of. We started doing the COVID updates, and I probably heard as many compliments about that as I did the tornado information, because people were watching that, and that was a scary time for a lot of folks. We never had a pandemic in our lifetime, and to try to get the information out to them that here's what's happening, here's the number of people that we have in the hospital, here's the testing that is going on at our health department that you can get, all the information that came up on vaccines and everything. People were scared, and it was a calming effect, I think, for them to know that they had a whole group of folks that were working on this from the state to the county to the city, and in conjunction with WCTE, we were getting that information out. So WCTE and this emergency studio, not only did it help us in those natural disasters, but it carried us through that terrible thing called COVID.
We have great relationships as it stands with WCTE, and we only expect that to grow in the future. We expect that relationship to become stronger, and the resources we're able to provide for our community to get better and better. We routinely work with emergency managers from across the state and even across the country, and what we've learned is that just like emergency managers are connected all across the state and work to help each other out in times of crisis, the PBS affiliates are very much the same way. There's a statewide network, and each station is allowed to backfill and help the other stations as they need it, as well as their local communities to respond in times of an emergency.